Welcome to the third series of Module 2 of the subject Retail Marketing. I, Dr. Sushmita Sugala, in today's session, Consumer Decision Making Process and Types of Decision Making. In the previous session, we had discussed the factors which were affecting the consumer decision making. Now, consumer decision making in this process, firstly, the retailer or marketer should know who his target group is, the demographics, the lifestyle, psychological factors which are affecting the purchase decisions of a customer. Secondly, there should be a familiarity with the consumer behavior or the process in which he is buying. It could be the next most important thing as to what, when, how, from whom, how often does he purchase. So, all these factors should be taken into account. Now, we have noticed in the previous session that the behavior is generally influenced by the person's background or his traits. This is the consumer decision making process, which involves two stages, like we just discussed. The first, where it is talking that there is a stimuli which generates a need, or you feel that there is a need to buy something, so you're recognizing a problem. And the second stage, wherein we come to know that it is our own personal behavior or traits which are affecting our buying process. So, when we look at the consumer decision making process, these are the stages: need recognition, information search, evaluation of alternatives, purchase decisions, and your post purchase dissonance. Now, the first one, we noticed that there is a stimuli. This stimuli is like a cue, which could be any drive or social or commercial cue. It could be an advertisement. It could, which could motivate a person to act. It could be a social cue, wherein it is coming from your friends or from fellow employees. So this is coming from your interconnectedness and your interpersonal nature. It could be the advertisement, which is a commercial cue. Now, it could be that it is a physical drive, like thirst, hunger, heat, cold, pain, etc. Need recognition. This is the first stage, where we say that there is a commercial, social, or physical stimuli besides the need, wherein an unfulfilled desire which needs to be fulfilled is recognized. Sometimes this could be a shortage which is recognized, and therefore you need to go and repurchase an item, maybe something like buying a milk, repairing a car. uh, the third would be where you recognize a need is that a product has been bought before or it has not been patronized at all, but you understand that buying that product would improve the lifestyle or self image of a person. Now, if the problem is really recognized, people do feel that this is going to solve some problem or this is going to satisfy a desire, then it merits further information, which means people start looking out for information regarding that product, and they would be looking out for various alternatives which will solve the problem. Sometimes, after looking out for the information, we also try to assess the characteristics of each alternative and try to understand how each product that has been figured out might help in solving their requirement. So, first, the person compiles a list of goods or services he wants. Then he addresses the shortage. He recollects the purchase experiences or some internal memory and looks up for other information, maybe from extended sources. It could also be that it is some memory where it was in the childhood that he had seen, or a friend who had mentioned the usage and how it had benefited. It could be external sources like advertisements, salespeople, non commercial sources, maybe such as your retail consumer reports, social sources, your friends, and your co workers. The information search depends on the risk involved in the product or the service that you are buying. Now, this risk varies from individual and the situations in which it is required. For some, it is not so important like buying a motorcycle or a mobile, but it is very important for others. So, if the solution is available, then he moves ahead or he either drops his search. If he moves ahead, then comes in the next stage, that is your purchase act. Now, this act is when a person is now ready for the purchase. So, it is an exchange of money or a promise to pay the ownership or use a good or service. At these stages, the things that the consumers are concerned about is the place of purchase, purchase items and the terms which would go with it, and the availability. Now, place of purchase is a store or a non-store location from where he's wanting to buy. So he's evaluating that location where he would like to go and buy. Alternatives are enlisted. The traits are defined. Images of the store, price, services, location, all these are considered. Sometimes even hours of work, interactivity, and the convenience factors are taken into consideration for choosing the place of purchase. When you are choosing the purchase items, it is the terms like maybe the price, mode of payment, whether it is cash, whether it is a short term credit or a long term credit. So these terms are considered. The third is your availability, where you're looking at the availability, which means that the product that you wish to buy is in stock and is ready for delivery. Now, if he is willing to buy, he is buying. So then, after buying, comes in the last stage where it is the post purchase behavior. Now, in this post purchase behavior, the purchase leads to some, purchase of insurances, accessories, seat covers in case of cars. You are re-evaluating the purchase which has been done. So, whether the performance is as promised, you have some cognitive dissonance wherein you're doubting if you have made the correct decision in making that purchase. Hence, the retailer or the managers, after purchase, they tend to make a phone call, they tend to have a service visit or send an email to find out if the customer is facing any problem and to help him out. So, this is mainly done in order to make him feel that his purchase is definitely the right purchase and there is no dissonance post purchases. The other assurances which people do find is in the money back guarantees. Now, looking at the next topic, that is the types of decision making. Here, there are four types: extended decision, limited decision making, routine decision, and impulse purchases. Extended decision making is when you are purchasing a product maybe for the first time. There would be a lot of research, which means you are doing a lot of information search and trying to understand the product, the different companies which are making those products that you wish to buy, and then you are making a choice. Now, the information search depends on the perceived risk in purchasing that product, and sometimes these printed material or lot of advertisements, they help in making the customer make some easy search on that particular product. So these make customers feel very comfortable. In limited decision making, less time is required to decide because that information search is not so extensive. There is moderate risk involved. There is a possibility that this is the second time you are purchasing the same product. So you do know where your priority lies, you do know a few alternatives, but you are looking for the latest releases or latest alternatives which have come into the market. Now, when I look at the third decision making, here it is buying out of habit. So there is no information search as such, but you're simply evaluating the alternatives and then you're buying on a regular basis. So this is like your grocery, your newspapers, haircuts. So these just go with the flow. Now, impulsive purchases, this is a totally unplanned purchase. Sometimes, when you enter the store and you find that there is a product which interests you, you make a purchase. Sometimes, at the back of the mind, there is a requirement for a product, but you have never decided to buy the product. When you go out and you find it, you make a purchase. So, these are the impulse purchases. A few references which have been taken for the preparation of this session are as given. Thank you.